Former F1 driver David Coulthard has strongly stated his belief that Lewis Hamilton is the greatest Formula One driver of all time, declaring him unmatched by Max Verstappen. Meanwhile, the war of words between George Russell and Max Verstappen continues to escalate. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has condemned Russell, accusing him of lying to the media about recent on-track incidents. Sky F1 commentator David Croft has hit back at criticism from Sergio Perez's father, who accused F1 journalists of being biased and dishonest. Welcome to F1 Real Time. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Lewis Hamilton, one of the most iconic figures in Formula One history, is set to bid farewell to Mercedes at this weekend's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the finale of the 2024 season. Hamilton has spent 12 illustrious years with the Brackley-based team, winning 6 of his 7 world championships and claiming 84 of his 105 career race victories. From 2025, the 39-year-old will embark on a new journey with Ferrari, marking a seismic shift in the F1 landscape. The 2024 campaign has been far from smooth for Hamilton. Despite securing significant victories at Silverstone and Spa, he has often found himself overshadowed by his younger teammate, George Russell, particularly in qualifying. This has been a year where Hamilton's vulnerabilities have been on display, as he struggled to adapt to a car that failed to meet the team's expectations. David Coulthard, a veteran of the sport and a 13-time Grand Prix winner, reflected on Hamilton's current form. Lewis has looked and sounded uncomfortable this year. He's never been out-qualified by a teammate as often and as consistently. If we're being pragmatic, looking at the data, he is not at the peak of his form. Yet Coulthard was quick to acknowledge Hamilton's unparalleled legacy. Lewis is the most influential driver in the history of the sport in terms of what he's done. Anyone who denies his greatness is delusional. In a data-driven business, the data supports him as the greatest Formula One driver in the history of the sport. Coulthard emphasized that Hamilton's impact transcends championship tallies. While Hamilton shares the record of 7 world championships with Michael Schumacher, Coulthard argued that even an 8th or 9th title wouldn't significantly enhance his legacy. In terms of diversity and inclusion, but also the way in which he's won his races and championships, they have been clean. Michael and Ayrton Senna had a lot of controversy through their careers, and I say that with tremendous respect for both of them. With Lewis, there have been very few of those moments. One of the rare contentious moments in Hamilton's career occurred in Abu Dhabi 3 years ago, during the infamous 2021 season finale. Hamilton was on the verge of clinching a record-breaking 8th title when race director Michael Masi controversially applied the rules, allowing Max Verstappen to overtake him on the final lap following a late safety car. The incident left Hamilton feeling robbed, but showcased his grace under pressure. He shook hands with Verstappen and sought solace in a heartfelt embrace with his father, Anthony. Coulthard reflected on this pivotal moment, underscoring Hamilton's resilience. In this sport, you lose more than you win, Coulthard explained. Lewis, in that moment with his father, was just a young boy dealing with another disappointment. The fact that it's Formula One, and at the end of a multi-million-pound championship, doesn't make it any more significant than the countless races he's done throughout his career. Every race, every disappointment, he's moved on. Hamilton approaches the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with tempered expectations. Having managed only 12th in Qatar last weekend, a 6th victory at Yas Marina circuit appears unlikely. However, his 5 previous wins at this venue serve as a testament to his enduring class and ability to deliver under pressure. Meanwhile, a brewing tension between George Russell and Max Verstappen took center stage in Formula One, beginning with a dramatic exchange during the Qatar Grand Prix qualifying session and escalating into a war of words at the Abu Dhabi season finale. The saga exposed the simmering rivalry between the two drivers, with accusations, denials, and heated confrontations grabbing headlines. The drama began during the Qatar Grand Prix qualifying, where George Russell criticized Max Verstappen for allegedly driving dangerously slow. Russell was later promoted to pole position after Verstappen received a one-place grid penalty for a steward's ruling. Although Verstappen still secured P2 on the grid, his dissatisfaction was palpable. Dangerous and unnecessary, Russell reportedly told his team over the radio during qualifying, referring to Verstappen's perceived lack of urgency. The two drivers had a now infamous exchange in the steward's room and a tense confrontation during the drivers' parade the following day. Verstappen was far from amused by Russell's comments and actions, setting the stage for a fiery season finale. The tension reached a boiling point at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Among the verbal jabs exchanged, Russell made a serious claim, alleging that Verstappen had threatened to deliberately crash into him. He said he'd put me on my expletive head in the wall. That's not something we should tolerate in the sport. Verstappen, however, categorically denied the accusation. That's already wrong. I didn't say that. He's trying to flesh it out again. You know what I can't stand either? That he attacks me in an unacceptable way at the stewards' meeting, and then comes running back a day later as if nothing is wrong and slaps me on the shoulders. Helmut Marko, a senior advisor to Red Bull Racing, downplayed the incident but did not hold back in criticizing Russell. It has indeed blown up too much, and it should actually stay among the drivers. But above all, one has to stick to the truth. I think this is basically maybe a discussion you should just have among yourselves. Marko also lamented what he perceives as a growing tendency among drivers to use team radio to seek penalties for their competitors, highlighting an instance during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix where Verstappen questioned whether Lando Norris had slowed sufficiently under yellow flags. At the slightest offense, people immediately complain and instruct the team principal to turn to the stewards. That's booing. It's actually not worthy of our sport. Verstappen defended his actions, insisting that his team radio inquiry about Norris was purely to clarify the situation. It was just a normal question. I mean, I knew that I lifted, and I suddenly look in the mirror, and I saw that the gap closed up a lot. So I just asked, did he lift or not, just to double check. Of course, sometimes with yellow flags, some people lift more than others. And yeah, you can gain some tenths here or there. I luckily tried to play it safe, and then just asked and see the outcome of it. Meanwhile, another storyline dominated the paddock during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix weekend. Sergio Perez's future at Red Bull Racing has become the subject of intense speculation. Sky Sports F1's David Croft delivered a harsh assessment of Perez's performance during Free Practice 1, arguing that the Mexican driver has not met expectations in 2024. Croft highlighted a worrying statistic. Over the last 7 races, Perez has scored only 9 points, compared to teammate Max Verstappen's 126. That's what loses you a Constructors' Championship, Croft remarked, emphasizing that Red Bull's success hinges on consistent performances from both drivers. Perez's father, however, has fiercely defended his son. Earlier in the week, Antonio Perez posted a message on social media thanking Red Bull and claiming, "We have everything ready for 2025. He also criticized lying journalists and vowed to release a list of them. Croft addressed these allegations during the broadcast. While Sergio Perez insists he's got a contract, his dad suggests we all owe Sergio an apology for daring to suggest he might not be in Red Bull next year, Croft said, before sharing that insider sources suggest Red Bull might be pushing Perez to step down voluntarily or face a decision after the Abu Dhabi race. Perez's struggles have been evident, with 6 Q1 knockouts and 9 failures to reach Q3 this season. It's not good enough.